Have you ever stopped to think that maybe you're fighting the wrong thing? Most people spend their entire lives trying to eliminate insecurity, as if it were a flaw that needs to be corrected. But what if I told you that this relentless pursuit of false perfection is precisely what keeps you trapped in a cycle of anxiety and discomfort? The inconvenient truth is this: it's not insecurity itself that paralyzes you, but how you react to it, how you hide from it, or pretend it doesn't exist. Here's the secret no one tells you. Accepting your vulnerability can be the first step in building genuine and lasting confidence. When you stop wasting energy trying to be invincible and start acknowledging your fears without judgment, something extraordinary happens. You free up mental space, gain clarity to make better decisions, and develop a resilience that no artificial security mask can offer. It's like discovering that the door was unlocked the whole time, while you insisted on breaking the lock. In this content, we will explore together how emotional detachment and self-knowledge can completely transform your relationship with insecurity. You will discover practical mindfulness and meditation techniques, understand the science behind your emotions, and learn to cultivate gratitude even in the face of uncertainty. Prepare to question everything you believed about self-esteem, relationships, and mental health. The journey begins now, and I guarantee the path is lighter than you imagine. 1. What is emotional detachment? Imagine your emotions are like ocean waves. They come, grow, reach their peak, and then naturally recede. Emotional detachment is precisely this ability to observe these waves without drowning in them, without trying to hold them back or pretending they don't exist. It's a skill few master, but it can completely transform how you experience life. When you develop this deep self-awareness, you begin to respond to challenges with clarity instead of reacting impulsively, and that changes everything. The biggest misconception people have is that detachment means suppressing their feelings, becoming a kind of heartless robot. Nothing could be further from the truth. In reality, it's about feeling fully, but without being enslaved by your own emotions. It's like learning to drive a powerful car. You need to feel the engine's power, know every curve of the road, but keep your hands firmly on the steering wheel. This emotional self-regulation strengthens your resilience and gives you the power to consciously choose how to act, even when the inner storm seems overwhelming. In everyday life, this means not taking every criticism as a devastating personal attack, nor turning every achievement into a source of inflated ego that needs constant validation. It's about living fully in the present, extracting lessons and experiences from it, without clinging to the weight of the past or anxiety about an uncertain future. Think of that friend who manages to stay calm even when everything seems to be falling apart. They are not insensitive. They have simply developed the wisdom to recognize that emotions are fleeting and that their inner peace doesn't need to depend on external circumstances. 2. The science behind detachment. Here's a fascinating truth that neuroscience has discovered. Your brain literally reorganizes itself when you consistently practice emotional detachment. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for rational thought and executive control, is like a muscle that gets stronger the more you exercise it. Every time you choose to pause before reacting, every time you observe an emotion without letting it overwhelm you, you are strengthening neural connections that promote self-awareness and balance. It's literally reprogramming your brain to work in your favor. On the other side of this equation is the limbic system, the emotional center of your brain that processes feelings quickly and intuitively. When you don't practice detachment, it's as if this system takes control of the situation, triggering automatic reactions of fear, anger, or insecurity before you even have a chance to think. But when you strengthen the prefrontal cortex through practices like meditation and mindfulness, you create a kind of pause between stimulus and response. This small pause is where true freedom and resilience reside. Recent studies show that people who cultivate detachment have lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and greater activation in brain areas associated with emotional regulation. Some researchers have even observed changes in the physical structure of the brain, with increased gray matter density in regions linked to well-being and gratitude. This proves that you are not at the mercy of your biology. Through conscious practices, you can shape how your brain processes experiences and, consequently, how you live your life. 3. Benefits of emotional detachment. When you begin to practice detachment, the first thing you notice is a mental clarity that seemed impossible before. Suddenly, decisions that used to paralyze you for days become simpler because you are no longer clouded by fears and unrealistic expectations. It's like cleaning a foggy window. The landscape was always there, but now you can finally see it clearly. This strengthened self-esteem comes from the confidence that, regardless of the outcome, you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. In relationships, the effects are revolutionary. You stop creating suffocating expectations about people, allowing them to be who they truly are without projecting your own insecurities and needs onto them. This doesn't mean becoming distant or cold, but rather developing the maturity to love without imprisoning, to care without emotional dependence. When you don't need others to fill your inner voids, your connections become more authentic, light, and genuinely satisfying. It's the difference between a suffocating love and a liberating love. In both professional and personal spheres, detachment gives you focus and direction like nothing else can offer. You stop wasting mental energy on worries that lead nowhere and can direct your inner resources toward what truly matters. That inner peace that always seemed a privilege of monks in distant mountains becomes accessible amidst urban chaos, in traffic, in bank queues, in tense meetings. It's discovering that tranquility isn't a destination you reach when everything is resolved, but a skill you cultivate independently of external circumstances. 4. Difference between detachment and indifference. This is a misconception that needs to be cleared up immediately, because many people use detachment as an excuse to disconnect from life. Detachment is conscious presence. It's being fully engaged with the experience while keeping your heart open and your mind clear. It's like watching a captivating movie. You get emotional, you root for the characters, but you know that when you leave the theater, life goes on. Indifference, on the other hand, is not even going into the movie theater. It's refusing to feel anything because feeling hurts, and that's neither healthy nor liberating. When you practice true detachment, you develop emotional resilience through deep self-awareness. You acknowledge your emotions, validate your insecurity when it arises, but don't allow those feelings to dictate all your actions. It's about consciously choosing how to respond instead of reacting on autopilot. Indifference, on the other hand, is a heavy armor you wear to avoid getting hurt, but it ends up isolating you from the world. It's a defensive response, often born from unprocessed pain, that distances you from genuine connections and can even signal more serious problems like apathy or depression. Think about that person who says whatever to everything, who doesn't care about anything or anyone. That's not emotional freedom, it's imprisonment. Detachment allows you to love deeply without losing your autonomy. It allows you to care without being destroyed when things don't go as planned. It's the difference between having mental health and just pretending everything is okay. If you realize you're using detachment as a justification for not getting involved, for not taking risks, for not feeling, stop and ask yourself, isn't it time to seek professional help? Because a full life includes feeling, connecting, and yes, sometimes getting hurt and learning from it. 5. Detachment and self-esteem. What kind of foundation is your self-esteem built on? If it's based on external validation, approval from others, or specific results, prepare for an endless emotional roller coaster. Emotional detachment offers you something much more solid: the ability to recognize your intrinsic value, independent of circumstances or the opinions of others. When you stop needing constant approval from others, an extraordinary freedom takes over your life. It's like finally taking off a heavy backpack you've been carrying for years without even realizing how much it was limiting you. Internal criticism is often more cruel than any external judgment. That voice that sabotages you, that points out every flaw, that compares you to others and always finds you inadequate. Detachment teaches you to observe this voice without identifying with it, to recognize that thoughts are just thoughts, not absolute truths. Through self-knowledge and mindfulness practices, you develop the ability to question these destructive narratives and replace them with a more compassionate and realistic perspective. It's not about creating a false positivity, but about cultivating genuine self-acceptance based on who you really are, not who you think you should be. When your self-esteem is anchored in your own values and not in external expectations, you gain a solid confidence that no one can take away. You can fail, make mistakes, be rejected, and still know that this doesn't define your worth as a person. It's the difference between building a house on sand and building on solid rock. This shift in perspective facilitates continuous personal growth because you stop sabotaging yourself with fear of failure and begin to see each experience as a learning opportunity. It's about aligning your actions with your true desires, not with what you believe will impress others, and that is profoundly liberating. 6. Meditation techniques for detachment. Mindfulness, or full attention, is probably the most powerful tool you can have in your arsenal against the tyranny of uncontrolled emotions. The practice is surprisingly simple. You train your mind to stay in the present moment, observing thoughts and sensations without judgment, as if you were a curious scientist studying an interesting phenomenon. Start with just 5 minutes a day, sitting comfortably, focusing on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, that's normal, simply bring your attention back without self-criticism. This repetition strengthens your mental resilience in surprising ways. Guided meditations are excellent for beginners who find it difficult to stay focused on their own. Apps like Headspace, Calm, or even free YouTube videos offer specific sessions for emotional detachment and self-awareness. Experiment with different styles until you find what resonates with you. Some prefer male voices, others female. Some like background music, others silence. Breathing exercises, such as the 4-7-8 technique, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8, instantly calm the nervous system and create that precious space between stimulus and response. Loving kindness meditation, or metta, is particularly powerful for those who struggle with insecurity and harsh self-criticism. You cultivate feelings of kindness and gratitude, first directed towards yourself, then expanding to other people and eventually to all beings. The body scan, where you mentally scan each part of your body observing sensations without judgment, develops a body awareness that often reveals where you store tension and repressed emotions. Combine these practices with a meditation journal, where you record insights and patterns you observe, and you will have a detailed map of your inner emotional landscape. Your mental health will thank you. 7. Detachment in romantic relationships. Here's a truth that may seem paradoxical. The less you cling to your partner, the deeper and more genuine the love becomes. But hold on, I'm not talking about emotional detachment or calculated coldness. I'm talking about loving without possessing, admiring without controlling, caring without losing your own essence in the process. It's recognizing that your partner is a complete individual with their own journey, not an extension of you or a tool to fill your insecurities. When you develop this emotional autonomy, the relationship breathes, flourishes in unexpected ways. Think about how many relationships fail because one or both people create suffocating expectations about how the other should be, act, or feel. Each unmet expectation turns into resentment. Each difference becomes conflict. And little by little that love that began so beautifully transforms into a prison. Emotional detachment through self-knowledge frees you from this. You learn to appreciate your partner exactly as they are, not as an idealized version that exists only in your head. And here's the trick. When you stop trying to change the other person, when you genuinely accept their quirks and imperfections, the person feels safe to be authentic, and that's where the magic happens. Cultivating individual space within a relationship isn't a sign of problems. It's a sign of emotional maturity and resilience. You can have your hobbies, friendships, and moments of solitude without it threatening the relationship. In fact, these spaces are pure oxygen for lasting love. When you return from this individual time, you bring new experiences, renewed energy, and gratitude for having someone special to share it with. It's about building a partnership between two complete individuals who choose to walk together, not two halves that complete each other because, let's face it, incomplete people don't form a healthy whole. They only create a dependency disguised as love. 8. Detachment in family dynamics. Family is probably the most complex territory for practicing emotional detachment because it comes loaded with history, ingrained expectations, and patterns that have been repeated for generations. You carry years of conditioning, of roles assigned to you before you could even choose, of dynamics established when you were a child and had no self-awareness or voice. But here's the liberating truth. You are not obligated to remain in this script forever. Through detachment, you can recognize and respect your family history without allowing it to dictate every aspect of your adult life. Managing family expectations requires an emotional resilience that few develop, but it's worth every effort invested. Your parents probably have a vision of who you should be, your siblings may have their own projections, and everyone carries their own insecurities and fears that inevitably affect the dynamics. Detachment allows you to recognize that each member has their own path, their own pains and limitations. You stop taking every comment as a personal attack and begin to see it with compassion. That criticism from your father may be more related to his frustrations than to any fault of yours. This change of perspective relieves an immense burden. Loving your family freely means precisely that, without imposing your will, without needing to mold them into your image of what an ideal family should be. It's accepting that your brother might make choices you would never make, that your mother might have different values, that your father might never express affection the way you would like. And that's okay. Detachment doesn't make you insensitive to family conflicts, but it gives you the tools to navigate them without losing your inner peace or compromising your mental health. It's about establishing healthy boundaries when necessary, saying no without guilt, and maintaining relationships based on mutual respect and genuine acceptance, not on suffocating obligation or forced gratitude. 9. Detachment in the work environment. If you've ever lost sleep over a comment from your boss or spent the weekend ruminating on a conflict with a colleague, you know exactly why emotional detachment is essential in the professional environment. Work occupies a significant part of our lives, and allowing every corporate situation to disrupt your inner balance is a guaranteed recipe for burnout and resentment. Detachment teaches you to differentiate personal emotions from professional situations, creating that healthy distance that protects your self-esteem without making you indifferent or demotivated. It's about doing your job with excellence without allowing it to completely define who you are. Constructive criticism is a disguised opportunity for growth, but we can only see this when we don't take everything personally. That tough feedback from your supervisor might be showing you exactly where you need to develop new skills, and this perspective is only possible through self-awareness and emotional resilience. Think about it. The most successful people aren't those who never receive criticism, but those who know how to process it without letting it destroy their confidence. They extract what is useful, discard what is just noise, and move forward with renewed focus. Establishing healthy boundaries between personal and professional life is fundamental to maintaining sanity in the modern corporate world, where technology keeps us connected 24/7. Detachment helps you mentally switch off when the workday ends, avoid compulsively checking emails during family dinners, and recognize that your value as a person goes far beyond your quarterly results. When you cultivate this conscious separation, your productivity actually increases because you work with more focus and energy during appropriate hours. It's the difference between being a resilient professional who contributes consistently and someone who lives on the verge of burnout, dragging themselves through tasks with zero gratitude for what they do. 10. Detachment in friendships. Toxic friendships are like weeds in a garden. They drain resources that should nourish healthy plants, and if you don't have the courage to pull them out, they end up dominating the entire space. Emotional detachment gives you the clarity to identify those relationships that cause more harm than good, those people who consistently leave you worse off than when you first met them. It's not about judging or condemning anyone. It's about honestly recognizing when a connection no longer serves your growth or well-being. And that requires a considerable amount of self-awareness and, yes, the courage to act in favor of your mental health. Here's an uncomfortable truth that nobody likes to admit. Not all friendships are for life, and that's okay. Some people come into your life to teach specific lessons, to share a certain phase, and then paths naturally diverge. Trying to force the continuation of a friendship that has already served its purpose is wasting precious energy and often a source of mutual resentment. Detachment allows you to be grateful for what that person represented, to recognize that they were important while they lasted, and to move on without bitterness or insecurity about having lost someone. It's understanding that endings aren't always tragedies. Sometimes they're just natural conclusions. Adjusting expectations and energy invested in different friendships demonstrates resilience and emotional intelligence. You don't need to have the same level of intimacy and availability with all your friends, and recognizing this frees you from unnecessary pressure. That childhood friend you only talk to twice a year can still be significant without demanding the same energy you dedicate to that current friend who supports you weekly. When you practice this kind of conscious detachment, you create genuine space for new and positive connections to flourish. It's about valuing quality over quantity, cultivating gratitude for the right people, and keeping your heart open without allowing everyone unrestricted access to your inner peace. 11. The role of gratitude in detachment. Gratitude and detachment are like two sides of the same coin. While detachment frees you from excessive attachment, gratitude anchors you in what truly matters in the present moment. When you cultivate genuine gratitude, you naturally minimize the importance of setbacks and frustrations because your attention is focused on the blessings already present, not on what is lacking or what could be different. It's a subtle but revolutionary shift in perspective that completely transforms your life experience. Think about it. Two people can experience the same situation, but the one who practices gratitude extracts meaning and contentment where the other only sees lack and dissatisfaction. Keeping a gratitude journal is a practical and surprisingly powerful tool for developing this mindset. It doesn't need to be anything elaborate. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for each night before bed quickly makes a measurable difference. It can be something big like, I got that promotion, or something small like, the coffee was perfect today. This simple exercise reprograms your brain to seek the positive, developing emotional resilience and self-awareness about what truly brings you satisfaction. Over time, you'll realize that many of your worries and insecurities lose their power when contrasted with the abundance already present in your life. The combination of gratitude and detachment creates a kind of emotional superpower. You deeply appreciate what you have without needing to desperately cling to it. It's like holding a bird with open hands instead of clenching them tightly. When you relax, paradoxically, you're more likely to keep it around. This practice brings genuine tranquility that doesn't depend on perfect external circumstances. You may be going through real challenges and still recognize that there is at least a ray of light, a small victory, something worthy of appreciation. This isn't pretending problems don't exist. It's choosing not to be completely overwhelmed by them, maintaining perspective and mental health even when life gets tough. 12. Cultivating emotional detachment. Keeping a reflective journal is about delving into the depths of your own psyche with genuine curiosity, not harsh judgment. Set aside 15 minutes each day to write freely about your experiences, emotions, and patterns you notice. The goal isn't to create award-winning literature, but to develop profound self-awareness through honest introspection. Ask yourself, why did I react that way? What does this situation reveal about my fears? Where am I letting insecurities control my decisions? Over time, you'll begin to identify repetitive patterns, specific emotional triggers, and the mental narratives that limit or empower you. Mental visualizations are powerful tools that Olympic athletes and high-performing executives have used for decades. The basic technique: imagine yourself observing your emotions from the outside, as if you were watching a movie of your own life. When you feel anxiety rising, visualize it as a cloud passing through the sky. You recognize it. Observe its shape and movement, but you don't try to hold onto it or run away from it. This mindfulness practice develops emotional resilience because it creates psychological distance between you and your internal states. You begin to understand that you are not your emotions, you experience them, and this distinction is revolutionary. Integrating meditation and mindful reflection into your daily routine creates that space of inner freedom that transforms everything. Start small. 5 minutes of meditation upon waking, 2 minutes of mindful breathing before important meetings, a moment of gratitude before bed. Consistency is more important than duration. These practices are not escapism or a waste of time. They are a strategic investment in your mental health and clarity of thought. Think of it like a gym workout, but for the brain. Each session strengthens your self-regulation capacity, increases your self-esteem based on real achievements, and brings you closer to that inner peace that doesn't depend on perfect external circumstances. 13. Overcoming resistance to detachment. Let's be honest. Change is scary, even when we know the current path isn't working. Resistance to letting go arises because your brain interprets any change in pattern as a potential threat to survival. Those familiar behaviors, even if they cause you suffering, offer an illusory sense of control and predictability. The known is preferable to the promising unknown. Your insecurity feeds on this fear, whispering better safe than sorry, while keeping you trapped in dysfunctional cycles. Recognizing this dynamic is the first step in developing true resilience in the face of change. A gradual and compassionate approach is essential because radical transformation rarely works in the long run. Don't try to redesign your entire emotional life at once. Choose a small area to start with, perhaps letting go of the need for approval in a specific relationship, or practicing self-awareness by observing your reactions in certain work situations. Achieve small victories and build positive momentum. It's like learning a new language. You don't expect fluency in the first month. You celebrate when you can form your first complete sentence. Every progress, however small it may seem, strengthens your self-esteem and confidence that change is possible. Developing a support network makes a monumental difference on this journey. It could be a specialized therapist, a meditation group, friends who are also seeking personal growth, or even online communities focused on mindfulness and mental health. Sharing challenges and victories with people who understand your journey brings perspective, encouragement, and that crucial reminder that you are not alone in this struggle. Combine this with regular self-awareness practices, journaling, meditation, guided reflections, and be patient with your own pace. The path to detachment is not linear. It has setbacks and advances, and that's perfectly normal. What matters is the overall direction and gratitude for the progress, not impossible perfection. 14. Detachment and mental health. Anxiety and depression thrive in fertile ground for excessive worry, unrealistic expectations, and the need to control every aspect of life. Emotional detachment directly attacks these roots, offering a radically different perspective. Acceptance of uncertainty as an inevitable part of the human experience. When you stop fighting what you cannot change, when you recognize the limits of your control without feeling powerless, something extraordinary happens. The constant tension that fueled your anxiety begins to diminish. You breathe deeper, sleep better. Your mental health strengthens because you are no longer expending monumental energy trying to hold back the tide. Excessive emotional dependencies are another devastating factor for mental health that detachment can address. When your happiness, self-esteem, and sense of worth depend completely on other people or external circumstances, you are building on shifting sands. Every mood swing in your partner throws you off balance. Every change at work destabilizes you. Every comparison on social media fuels your insecurity. Detachment through deep self-knowledge anchors you internally, developing resilience that comes from within, not from without. You continue to care, you continue to love, but your emotional stability is not at the mercy of unpredictable external factors. Techniques like meditation, mindfulness, and breathing exercises are concrete strategies, not abstract concepts. Diaphragmatic breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, literally calming stress responses. Mindfulness reduces mental rumination, that endless loop of negative thoughts that fuels depression. Regular meditation increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, improving emotional regulation. Combine these practices with daily gratitude, and you have a robust protocol for strengthening mental health. It's not about replacing professional treatment when necessary, but complementing it with tools you can use autonomously. It's about taking active responsibility for your emotional well-being, cultivating internal resources that support you even when the external world is chaotic. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, what are you willing to let go of today? What suffocating expectation, what need for control, what emotional dependency can you begin to release right now? Emotional detachment isn't a destination you reach and then live happily ever after. It's a daily practice, a conscious choice you make repeatedly. Every time you observe an emotion without drowning in it, every time you respond with clarity instead of reacting impulsively, you strengthen this precious skill. And the transformation this brings to your life is deeper than any external change could offer. Think about the areas of your life where insecurity has been driving your decisions, in your relationships, at work, in how you see and treat yourself. What would change if you cultivated the courage to face these fears with compassion instead of judgment? What would your connections be like if you loved without imprisoning, cared without depending, lived without needing to control every detail? The self-knowledge you develop through detachment is not a philosophical luxury. It's a practical tool for living with more lightness, authenticity, and, yes, genuine happiness. And it all begins with the decision that you deserve this inner peace. If this content provided valuable insights and you want to continue this journey of personal growth, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week we share new tools, techniques, and perspectives for you to develop emotional resilience, strengthen your mental health, and build the life you truly desire. Leave a comment telling us which part of this content resonated most with you and which practice you plan to start today. Your transformation inspires others to begin their own journey, and together we create a community of people committed to genuine growth. See you in the next video.